Hold on. I felt a breeze. Oh, what? What? The statue of Mozart has changed. Where once there was worked in gray stone, now the statue is given the color he might have had in life. So too is there another change. The statue is now shorn of any beard. Despite its lifelike color, the statue remains unmoving and bereft of life. That's strange. Something about the lifelike visage compels my eye, but the strange enchantment that encircles the statue of Mozart resists my study. Why? How come? I have a feeling that I'm being watched by an invisible presence, and it's getting stronger and stronger and stronger. Something's very strange here.
Something is not right.
We are being watched. Can you sense it? Show yourself, villain!
I say again, show yourself to us, villain! Only cowards hide behind such a veil of deception.
Who do you think it is, and why? Something's not right. Some servant of Mozart the traitor may lie in wait, seeking to harm us. Remain on your guard.
The statue of the traitor is so lifelike. Is this a tomb? I can almost hear him. But how can I know the sound of the traitor's words? The bearer of that voice died long ago.
Good question. More puzzles.
And yet, I am put in mind of the anvil of Winterstith, and of a voice that spoke through the ice.
Ooh.
It spoke of dwarves long dead, and of great deeds. It was the voice of a dwarf, not a dragon. It was the voice of a friend, courteous, but stern.
It was I who spoke to you, Durin, my friend.
Fell sorcery! Explain yourself, villain!
Sorcery, aye, but not of the sort you fear. This is the work of the first crafter.
Lies!
I would not speak falsely to you, Durin, my friend.
And yet you bear the visage of Mozart the traitor! How do you know my name?
I know you for my friend Durin, for I have seen you in all your guises during my long sleep. Your outward form does not hide you from the sight of my dream.
You say you know me. So too do I know you, Mozart the traitor, leader of the Grey Mauls, father of treachery. Why should I trust your words?
I have seen much you have forgotten. I will show these sights to you, that you may remember them.
What do you think?
I think that we should have a look. This could be important, Durin. You are a friend of Durin? Then you too will see what I have to show him. Very well.
See then what you have forgotten.
How can this be? Durin the Sixth. We have to help him.
There is no help we can provide. This was to be your end.
Every dwarf knows the tale, but this vision is so lifelike.
They called it Durin's Bane, but I knew it by another name, in another age, long before the creature came to hide in the forgotten caverns. I knew it as Askadurs, and the memory of its scorching passage through my city in the heights is cruel. But that was long ago.
Durin the Fifth, slayer of the dragon Sorog.
So you were, and yet... The dragon was also your end.
Does it always end thus?
That is the fate of Durin in every age in which he appears. I have seen them all.
Durin the Fourth came to the aid of the last alliance in distant Mordor.
Well,
How is it you beheld this?
The first crafter gave to me the dreaming sight. I have seen all your victories and all your defeats.
it was been both curse and blessing to see these trials, for it was the will of our first crafter that I should be unable to look away. I have seen moments of triumph, but so too have I seen defeats that would scar the iron heart of any dwarf, marking him forever with its imprint.
When Sauron waged his war upon Eregion, Durin the Third fought well and bravely. Did he not?
Many were the glorious deeds you accomplished in that war, my friend. But this was the last. Retreating into Casa Doom and sealing the doors.
But the dwarves survived. The king did what needed to be done.
It has always been difficult for me to see these trials, unable to intervene. It is no reward, friend of Durin, to remain helpless in this, but It could not be otherwise. The dreaming sight cares not.
Durin II ruled in Gundabad. Would that I could have seen it at its height.
But you did, my friend. Can you not see yourself behind the guise of each ruler I have shown to you? Here it was that you offered Gundabad to the Jelruka.
Stop! Stop these visions! Put an end to this nonsense!
So it appears that Durin did offer Gundabad to the Jelruka. I was wondering how it got interpreted so, and how the Longbeards may have forgotten that, because Durin apparently doesn't believe it.
I am shaken, I confess it.
Why does Mozart show these visions to us, Pineleaf? For what purpose would such a foe of my great ancestor give this knowledge to me? What does Mozart hope to gain from aiding me thus? That I don't know. So I have to ask Mozart.
I will not be swayed by honeyed words from an enemy's tongue.
Do you mark how often he called me his friend? But it's not so. Remain on your guard, and I will do the same. I know you for an enemy, Mozart, and I demand that you account for yourself. Do you deny your treachery? Well, what does Mozart have to say about that?
I do not deny it. Durin, who was once my friend.
It is true. Once we were great friends, and you trusted me with your kingdom. But I do not deny my treachery. Hear how it was, and you may remember it anew. Oh, so that we may remember what really happened in the Grey Maul Rebellion?
On Sin, it was by the Miramir that Durin's heart dwelt evermore. When he went there to live, it was I, Motsog, he left to rule Gundabad in his name.
How could Durin the Deathless entrust one such as Mozart with rule of his kingdom? It beggars belief, Pineleaf. Were there no indications of Mozart's evil? Or of his treacherous nature? Let us hear what happened.
We had fought side by side against the creatures of Morgoth for many years. But it is as I said, his heart was captured by the lands he saw a-wandering.
A lake there is, so beautiful and clear that you can see the stars reflected even at midday. And such caves as you have never seen, dear Mozart. But they cannot compare with those of our home, surely. Had you only seen them, you would understand.
But I had not, and I did not.
What of this metal you found, this true silver? I do not wish to disbelieve you, my brother, but I find that I must. Every word I speak of it is true. It is a metal surpassing strength, lightness, and beauty.
Mithril.
Aye, so it was.
It is a sign, my friend. The place where it can be found will be a new home for our people. I ask you again, come with us. No, Durin, my place is here. Then rule it well on my behalf, dear Motsog.
Not all of the Longbeards chose to follow Durin to the shore of Keled Zaram.
Durin took the greater portion of the Longbeards with him, and found the Darodelf of Khazad-dûm, and I governed those who remained behind. Those years were hard and bloody, for the orcs had been emboldened by the exodus of so many dwarves. They sought to conquer Gundabad. We held them back, but with so few defenders the cost was high. 6 of my 7 sons were slain in those wars, and only the youngest, Modvit, survived to be named my sole heir. My heart grew cold, and only orc slaying could bring me any joy. The heads of our enemies adorned the gates of the mountain home. Some among my people whispered that Durin had abandoned us to the encircling orcs. During the years that followed, the whispers grew, and with them my own legend. Noble Motsog, who stood alone against all the forces of Morgoth, fighting to preserve our people. My son, Modvit, became the fiercest of my adherents, and in time he had me believing what was said of me, that I was equal to, or perhaps even greater than, the king himself.
It was at this time that a party of elves tarried in Gundabad. Their weapons shone with a brilliant luster, and all could see they were wrought of true silver.
How came but you by these weapons? They were fashioned them ourselves, good dwarf. Can you not see the fine craft of their making? Do you mock my father? Remember that you are guests here, and still your tongue. The mithril was a gift to us from your kin in Khazad-dûm. How can this be? Durin would not part with a metal so valuable unless there was a gift to his kin left behind.
My anger could not be contained. I had need of the true silver to fuel my war against the orcs and trolls. Was mithril not the domain of dwarves alone? Here it was in the hands of elves. But not for long.
He had the elves killed. The sight of mithril weapons in the hands of elves had kindled a dark flame of greed and envy in my heart. How many of my people might have been spared had Durin given such true steel to we who remained? How many of my sons might have survived battle with the orcs and trolls that sought to conquer the mountain home, had they possessed weapons in such quality? Only one son remained to me in the dark day, and it was he who slew the elf captain. His people kept to the defense, wielding the mithril blades with deadly skill. But Modvit was not alone, and my worthiest commander stood with him. When the fighting was ended, my spear too dripped with the blood of my guests.
I claimed the mithril weapons of the elves for my people. I had them reforged into 7 great war hammers.
Seven dwarves, 7 hammers.
So too did I reforge my people. What once were Longbeards became something new. We became the Greymolls, and I the king of Gundabad.
Mithril hammers. Greymolls. Has Durin answered my demand? Will he deliver to us half of the true silver he had unearthed, and half of what he mines henceforth? Or will he continue to waste that treasure upon the elves? He will not pay, father. He will bring an army here first. He will not give us half of his true silver? Then let him lose all of it to us in war!
I spoke boldly, but I feared the armies of Durin. What secret paths into Gundabad might you know that I did not? I ordered the creation of a mighty golden city in the mountains.
With its thick walls and defensible approaches, my new stronghold of Bir-Zahar in the high mountains to the south was secure from any assault. My loyal Greymalls stood at the parapets of my city and gloated, insisting that Durin's warriors would be unable to ascend the heights, and the former king would meet our demands. But I wondered, and I worried. The defenses of Bir-Zahar were strong, but I feared they would not be strong enough. Word reached me that the former king had assembled a vast army of Longbeards, and even now he marched at its head and put down the revolt. We could not hope to match such numbers as Durin levied, and the size of its approaching host was more than double my own. In Bir-Zahar I had built my tomb. This truth came slowly to me, but it did not come to me alone. The city is strong, father, but we cannot hope to match the strength of Durin's armies. What do you suggest we do, my son? There is only one who hates Durin and his followers as much as we. Let us make common cause with his servants, father. With the orcs and trolls as allies, we might stand a chance against Durin's greatest numbers.
I see now that my son Modvit was possessed of a wicked heart. But I heeded his words, as I should not have done.
Oh my. Oh my. Even trolls. Orc and dwarf and troll marched side by side in the misty mountains for the first time. And as Durin's own army approached Gundabad, my combined forces fell upon his with a ferocity he could never have anticipated. The rout was total and complete, and the finest warriors of Khazad-dûm fled from the hammers of the Grey Mauls and the fangs of the orcs and the clubs of the mountain trolls. Durin's eldest sons were slain by orcs in this furious battle, and I thought it meet. Had I not lost my own sons, save Modvit and such as they, it seemed little different to me at the time, though I had joined hands with the forces of Morgoth and his commander Sauron. It was Durin drove me into the Doom, and if there was to be blame, let it lie with him. My foes returned in triumph to Bizazahar, and my commanders believed the war had reached a decisive end. I knew it was not so. I knew it what it proved to be. The beginning only. Only the beginning. A very tragic tale.
See you now that I deny nothing?
You who were Durin, you were my friend and my lord, and I coveted your title and your lands, the respect and the love that was given you. I listened too carefully to those of my people who whispered that I might truly be an eighth father of the dwarves. I, an eighth father to join the other seven. If there were 8 and not 7, my people whispered, about what else might they deceive us? Some suggested falsely that perhaps I awoke first beneath the mountains, and it was Durin who usurped my rights and privilege. Durin was the usurper. They were false whispers, but they echoed loudly in the halls of Gundabad while Durin was away, and I did not speak against them as I should have done. That failure led in direct line to the Grey Maul Rebellion. No, my friend, I do not deny my treachery. Neither do I deny the blood spilt by those who followed me.
These crimes are unforgivable.
These crimes, they match my understanding of the Grey Maul Rebellion. You deserved the death given to you by my ancestor Durin, to whom you owed fealty. You claim that you are his friend. You say you spoke the truth about the Grey Maul Rebellion. But I deem you speak falsely on this. You were no friend of Durin, nor were you a friend of mine.
Finish your tale, Motsog, and be done with it.
I care not if you repent of the evils you wrought. Speak of Durin's judgment, and know that you deserved it. What was this judgment? We'll have to find that out in the next episode of The Legacy of Durin.